Welcome back, Halo followers. This is your host, Ron, and today we got some potentially alarming news for Halo Infinite. I don't want to spin this to be a bad thing or a good thing, so I'm just going to read the article and I'm going to let you guys decide what you think it could potentially mean. Now, the E3 storm has not come upon us. This is just some early stuff, but the article on comicbook.com reads, Halo Infinite isn't just the next Halo on the Xbox. It represents a new direction for the series, an evolution, you might say. In fact, in the past, 343 Industries has referred to the new installment as a spiritual reboot, which perhaps explains why it's not simply called Halo 6. A spiritual reboot is a bit of a wishy-washy term, but according to 343 Industries Wolfkill, part of the reason the game is referred to this as is because it's aiming to be a new Halo experience that will be attractive to both fans of the sci-fi shooter series and people who have never played it before. According to Wolfkill, 343 Industries wants the game to set off the next generation of Halo with it. So nothing quite alarming there. Let's read the next part. That's a huge challenge for any IP, even wider entertainment franchises, said Wolfkill when talking about preparing for the series for a new audience to games industry. Part of why there's been that span of time between Halo 5 and Infinite is a retooling of the infrastructure that gives us the flexibility to do whatever we want with that game, but it's also about setting off the next generation of Halo. We want people to be able to come into Halo Infinite who may not have played any other Halo game before. She goes on to say, at the same time, part of what my role is and my goal with Transmedia Pieces is how do we start to engage new audiences and bring people into the universe so that when Infinite comes out, maybe people who haven't played before are interested in playing. So I think it goes without saying why this is concerning to someone that is a big Halo fan and is concerning to Halo fans in general, because this is, now again, this is before the E3 storm comes out. We don't know if Classic Halo is really making its return at the time of this recording of this video. So with that being said, this is still concerning because I feel like it's the same thing that they did with Halo 4 and Halo 5. They weren't interested in making Halo something really cool in of itself. They are more interested in making it engaging to new audiences. As Kiki Wolfkill said, engaging new audiences, bring people that weren't interested in Halo before and bringing them in. Now, that doesn't sound very bad, but I want you to think about the implication of that. That means that they're going to tinker with Halo to make it adaptable to audiences, when really it should be in reverse. Halo should be its own thing that attracts people that want to be a part of the universe and to play the games and to love the characters and to love the gameplay and stuff like that. The audiences should fit into the game. The game should not fit into the audiences. Now that sounds actually kind of anti-fan, anti-consumer, but what I'm saying essentially here is that they should make Halo as good as possible and not worry so much about attracting new fans, because if that's the approach that they take it, then we're going to have like the whole mainstream crap again. We're going to get the, they've already done this so many times. They tried to update the art style. They tried to update the gameplay with sprint and all the abilities, because people apparently have no attention spans anymore, which they do, but they just think we don't. So everything has to be super fast paced and everything has to always be happening. The ordnance drops, remember, that was a big fail. People don't really care for loadouts. That was eventually taken out. And people think that Master Chief is boring, so we need to have another character that is actually incredibly much more boring, like Agent Locke. So this is concerning when I say, I've said so many times that, look, 343 is great at learning, but it's things like this. Again, I'm not trying to spin this as a bad thing or a good thing. I want you guys to decide. I don't want to have any play in saying that this is a bad thing until all the news is really poured out from E3. So I could be completely off by the time you're watching this, so forgive me. But this is concerning with when they talk about pandering to the masses instead of making it just a great game that people will come in and start enjoying. There's actually a bit more to this on gamesindustry.biz, where the interview actually took place. Hunt the Truth, she says, felt successful because it was a suspenseful story on its own and led into Halo 5. But some of the pieces other pieces were so carefully constructed to attach to the story of that game that even though we said that they were enjoyable standalone pieces, it really felt like you had to ingest it all at the same time. It didn't feel very approachable for people new to the franchise, which was already a struggle with a game called Halo 5. Authenticity is such a priority for any of those efforts, and it's always a challenge because the reality is sometimes you do those things for marketing value to build excitement for the game, but it still has to feel as authentic as anything else, and has to feel true to the fans and universe as any other piece. Winding these pieces so tightly together made it hard for some people to unpack, and it made the story more complex when we had so many pieces at the same time. She also talks a little bit later in the interview, we think a lot about how we expand to a younger audience, knowing that we have parents who play Halo, love Halo, and do want to share it with their kids. We need to find the right avenues, knowing that at our core, those are the themes we think about that are appropriate for kids and give parents permissions to feel like they allow their kids to indulge in Halo. That's also a part of Halo Outpost Discovery. It was deliberately built to engage both very young kids and adult players. There's a whole range of experiences there. So I think essentially what she's coming across here is they want Halo to be adaptable for kids while respecting adult players. And really, I think most of Halo followers viewers are 18 to 24. So, I mean, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of players. Now, I'm not dissing kid players that want to get into Halo. I don't think that Halo should change for them. However, I think Halo should just focus, as I talked a lot about before, Halo should focus exclusively on being the best game that it can possibly be. Now, with that being said, maybe that's unrealistic of me to say. This is a multi-billion-dollar franchise ran and directed by people focusing on making good sales. At the end of the day, for many people on top that might be disconnected, might just think of Halo as an asset, and they have to think of it as marketing. Halo wouldn't be as successful if it wasn't, if it didn't think about its marketing and didn't kind of prey on certain audiences and making changes to focus on those things. Okay, now it's starting to seem like I'm really spinning this story, but I'm not. This is just my thoughts and my opinion about it. Please reserve your own for this. This is just my commentary about the matter. Now, I love Kiki Wolfkill, but it seems like some of her interviews and other people's interviews at 343, they come off and say things that kind of make us anxious because it's almost like an insult, like, hey, we love Halo so dearly, but things keep changing, and you come out with interviews not talking about making Halo for adults and making them as really, they should just focus on making it not for adults, not focus on kids, but making it the best franchise possible without all those outside motives about, oh, will this audience like it? Will this audience hate this? And, well, we should make it more kid-friendly. We should, I love Outpost Discovery. I think that's a great idea. But doing these things to bring in younger kids will, of course, bring in income, but it will also dampen the franchise and lose interest. And that always, I might be rambling at this point, but that always baffles my mind. I'm like, wait, pandering to younger kids and younger audiences will basically make the older players like myself kind of repulsed by gameplay. So it's a balancing thing. When you appeal to one side of the fan base or audiences or demographics, you're gonna lose some attention on another side in almost equal proportion. So be careful, Microsoft. Be careful, 343, because this is precious stuff here, and you can't tamper that much. And that's really just the core of this video. I mean, just do what you're gonna do with the story. Make it fucking awesome. Take it from the soul. Stop worrying so much about appealing to the fan base. Stop worrying about what demographics are you appealing to. Is it the core of the story safe for 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds? They probably shouldn't be playing games anyway. Let them go out play in the sun. Again, I'm not trying to be ageist, but come on now. I mean, just have fun with making the game, if you're not already. There's also a little bit more to this interview. I'm actually skipping over a few things that I don't think are super important, but she says, lastly, the hope is that the journey of the show and the story is at a quality and execution that people can set aside the parts that they feel that they own of him, still feel respected for feeling that ownership. But we have to be able to tell a story. It's tough. I think it will be exciting, invigorating to see him come to life. They're talking about Chief at, I think, Outpost is, or no, actually on the TV show. And they say, I think everyone will have the moment of, oh, I thought of him like this, but hopefully we can move into that story. So that's all very intriguing. How will they deal with Master Chief in that show? And by the way, I wonder if we might see a teaser for that show again at this year's show. So a lot of exciting stuff to talk about, guys. So be sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything down here in the comments section below. We have actually a little bit more. For Wolfkill, she says, transmedia is just an expression of your universe and the connection that people have to it. All 343's efforts in this regard are designed to show the strength and depth of Halo fiction, especially in the build-up to a crucial new release like Infinite. The obvious but valid comparison is Star Wars, which is able to tell stories in different ways because there is such fan love and respect for that universe and those characters, and even though Star Wars has made its own missteps, it's something Wolfkill would love for Halo to emulate. So she's talking about a separate story about the books and the shows and how Game of Thrones is kind of inspired for the show. But she also finally says, what I ultimately want is to have that this universe that people love, feel loyal, and have nostalgia for. She said, I think about it in the same way I feel about Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, or these IPs, where it doesn't really matter what comes out. I want to encourage it in because I want to always be a part of that universe. That's where I want us to get with Halo. So that's good. You know, some concerning news in the beginning, but she kind of reels us back into, you know, this is a sacred place. This is a place that she wants to have people love and feel loyal to and have nostalgic feelings for. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of concerning stuff so far, I think. But let me know your thoughts down below. Guys, probably went on a little bit too long here, but I don't know, I'm just getting all the E3 jitters. Guys, E3 is upon us, so be sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell, and I will see you very, very soon in my next videos. Alright, cheers. Peace.